Okay, hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Hamidani Raham. My student number ID is 291-23309. I'm a graduate student and current student at MBA ITB. And now I'm going to make a video for you about economic viability of hydrogen fuel production and distribution in Indonesia. This video is made to accomplish my midterm exam in economic and business landscape analysis. Okay, let's start to the topic. So now let's go to the introduction part, where our life cannot be separated from the need for energy. Along with the population growth, energy demand increases every year. Energy needs in Indonesia can be classified from several end-user factors, namely like industrial, household, commercial sectors, transportations, and the other sectors. The industrial sector uses primary energy such as coal and natural gas, crude oil, and the other. Okay. And then, based on the research by Edward and Leon, the total energy demand is expected to rise from 195 MTOE or million tons in 2020 to 556.5 MTOE in 2060. During the course of the following 4 years, the percentage change in the amount needed for each type of energy between the beginning of 2020 and the end of 26 may be found in these pictures. Electricity went from 24% in 2020 to 28% in 26, while motor fuel went from 28 to 84%. And in the area of demand households, proportion of demand fell from 29% in 2020 to 20% in 26, while the share of other values increased in other sectors, like transportation grew to 22% from 19%. Indonesia energy supply is expected to rise by 1.55% in 2023 compared to the previous years, and reaching a value of 1.853 million. And it is the highest in the preceding 6 years in accordance with the country's economic growth. Natural gas and renewable energy products saw increases of 3% and 13.8% respectively over the previous year, while the supply of fossil energy such as coal and goods made from crude oil saw a modest fall. Coal still accounts for 39%. So almost all of Indonesian energy demand is produced by using coal. And at the other points, the energy used by using the NRE or new renewable energy is at 13%. From the slide before, we know that almost all of Indonesian demand is using the coal resources. But the usage of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas have a negative impact on the environment. With over 75% of all greenhouse gas, or GHG, and almost 90% of all carbon dioxide emissions coming from fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. Fossil fuels are by far the biggest cause of climate change. So, yeah, heat from the sun is trapped by the GHG, which cover the earth. Global warming and climate change result from this. The rate of global warming is higher than it has ever been. Weather patterns are shifting due to rising temperatures, upsetting natural equilibrium of the environment. The threats to humans and all other life forms on Earth are great because of this climate change. And according to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, on the 6th assessment report, greenhouse gas emissions have continued to rise, with carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide levels reaching record heights. To limit global warming to 1.5 Celsius, the report stresses the need for rapid and deep reduction in emission across all sectors. It emphasized the importance of transitioning to renewable energy, improving energy efficiency, and deploying technologies like carbon capture and storage. The energy sector, which includes electricity generation, accounts for about 73% of global GHG emissions. It's so high. And a large portion of these emissions come from the burning of fossil fuels, such as coal, natural gas, and oil, to produce the electricity. So this makes transitioning to renewable energy sources like solar, wind, and hydropower crucial for reducing overall emissions. As in many countries, Indonesian energy emissions are driven by the dominance of coal in electricity generation. So, okay, let's go to the next slide. Now, we will discuss about the renewable energy. So, according to the World Bank Group, Indonesia is working to create more space for renewable energy investments in the power system. You can see at the roadmap of hydrogen energy in Indonesia. Indonesia's commitment to mitigate global climate change has been outlined in an agreement called the National Determined Contribution, which is to reduce carbon gas emission by 2030 by 29% with its own efforts and 41% with international assistance. Currently, the target has been increased to enhance national determined contribution, and the carbon emission reduction target is in the energy sector in 2030 is 358 million tons of carbon dioxide. Historically, the realization of carbon emission reduction in the energy sector is increased every year, which in 2022, Indonesia managed to reduce carbon emission by 91.5 million tons of carbon dioxide. In addition, from Kementerian SDM, Indonesia also has a long-term target of achieving net zero emissions by 2060 or sooner. So on the supply side, hydrogen is one of the government's main strategies in carrying out the roadmap to carbon neutrality by 2060. The main strategy to reach carbon neutral from the supply side is by developing renewable energy on a massive scale with a focus on solar, hydro, and geothermal as well as hydrogen. Hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe, which is found on our planet Earth, mainly in water and organic compounds. From water, H2O, hydrogen is an emerging energy carrier in order to support decarbonizations of the global energy and industrial sector enhance. Producing hydrogen from renewable energy sources is of prime interest today. Power to hydrogen is promising solution for storing variable energy to achieve 100% renewable and sustainable hydrogen economy. So now let's go to the hydrogen energy classification. Hydrogen energy can be classified and categorized based on how the hydrogen is produced. Red hydrogen uses a nuclear power as the primary energy, and the gray hydrogen is obtained from hydrocarbons by steam methane reforming. It is using the natural gas, like that. And then the blue hydrogen uses gray hydrogen production, and but it has a CCS, or carbon capture and storage concept. So the carbon dioxide is went to the CCS on the blue and turquoise hydrogen. But in the turquoise, hydrogen is gained from the thermal cracking of methane. And the last one is the renewable energy, and the base one is the green hydrogen, where the green hydrogen produced from electrolysis. So it's from the water, whereby water and electricity from renewable energy are used. Indonesia has a roadmap to develop and use green hydrogen as a supply for energy sources. According to Indonesia Fuel Cell and Hydrogen Energy, the development of green hydrogen is increased. The development of green hydrogen in Indonesia's energy sector will start gradually in 2031 and increase rapidly after 2050. Its hydrogen generation capacity will increase significantly from 328 megawatt in 2031 to 2035. And then it will reach 332 megawatt in 2040. And finally, at the 2060, it will reach 52 gigawatts. Indonesia has set a vision to utilize green hydrogen, ammonia, and carbon capture and storage to reduce its carbon footprint. And Indonesia's target the use of green hydrogen as alternative energy for the transportation, also industrial and household sector in the future. So based on that reason, researchers do study analysis for the economic viability of using hydrogen energy as an energy source by doing literature review from publication and other research journal. So now let's go to the discussion and analysis. First, hydrogen is an element that exists in gaseous form and can be produced through a variety of methods like electrolysis, we can get from water, and then from ammonia, something like that. And electrolysis is a procedure that uses electrolyzers to separate water into hydrogen and oxygen. Utilizing electricity produced by renewable resources such as solar and wind and hydropower technology to produce some electricity first, and then we use water and electrolyze water to separate the hydrogen and oxygen. And we can use the biomass and biomass gasification to produce the green hydrogen. So let's now go to the potential of the green hydrogen. First, Indonesia has a big potential for renewable energy. On solar energy, Indonesia has a potential to make 3,274 gigawatt. It's really high. And from the wind is 95 gigawatt, bioenergy is 57 gigawatt, geothermal is 23 gigawatt, and from oceans, it's 63 gigawatt. Then the electricity from renewable energy can be used to produce green hydrogen. So it's really don't have the gas emissions, because the power that used to operate the electrolysis comes from the renewable energy. And the hydrogen when hydrogen is used as an energy carrier, there are no direct emissions. Yeah. Like I explained before, of there are no direct emission of greenhouse gases or pollutants. So its combustion or reaction with oxygen produces only water vapor, making it a clean and environmentally friendly energy options. And then hydrogen has a high energy density per unit mass, making it a lightweight and efficient energy carrier. These properties are particularly advantageous in applications such as transportations, where mass and efficiency are important factors. So I want to talk about the hydrogen fuel because now a few cars is developed to get from the hydrogen fuel and using the hydrogen fuel. And then hydrogen can be used in a wide range of application sectors, like a fuel, transportations, heating, and also electricity sectors. And it can also be used as a feedstock or industrial processes or as a means of energy storage. And then the fourth one is hydrogen can be used as an energy storage medium, enabling the integration of renewable energy sources into the grid. Excess electricity generated from renewable sources can be used to produce hydrogen through electrolysis. And the hydrogen can be converted back into electricity when needed, helping to keep supply and demand in balance. And the last one is hydrogen can be transported and distributed through existing natural gas pipelines. So with some modification, allowing for easier integration into existing energy infrastructure. Hydrogen can also be stored and transported in liquid or compressed form, providing flexibility in logistics. Now we will talk about the challenges. According to Sutarno and Malik, the research is made in 2016, the cost of using electrolysis and a technology to produce green hydrogen is very large. So the cost is still high to implement the hydrogen energy. The use of electrolysis requires a production cost of $6.8 per kilogram. The use of gasification technology, like using coal, requires a cost of $1.2 per kilogram. And the use of gasification technology with CCS and coal fuel requires a cost of $1.8 per kilogram. So it's really high different if we use the electrolysis and the coal, but we still develop the efficient way to make it cheaper to use the electrolysis so we can make the zero emissions. And from a research by Henry Hardana, overall the cost production to produce hydrogen is still high, but by using the LCOH, production was as low as $2.18 per kilogram from 6.47 megawatt in Kratchak SHP, resulting in annual production of 745.52 tons of green hydrogen. Until now, Indonesia has not had an extensive network of hydrogen filling stations. However, there are some efforts to build hydrogen filling stations in some strategic locations. For example, in Bali, Indonesia for SHP was built in 2021 to support the use of hydrogen fuel cell cars. Although still in it's still in its early stages, Indonesia is starting to see the adoption of hydrogen fuel vehicles. Like there are some vehicles that will release that use the hydrogen as a fuel. You can search it, and several companies and institutions have introduced hydrogen vehicles in experimental and also demonstration projects. Indonesia has also been conducting research and development in hydrogen. Leading universities and research institutions in Indonesia have conducted research. But besides of the price, potential and challenges like we discussed before, based on the research by Henry Hardana in 2024, suggesting that gas engine co-firing with green hydrogen is a viable option, starting from optimization of retroactively operated with a small capacity, where other SHP dispersed in so many locations in Indonesia island will unlock the potential of a green hydrogen cluster in the emerging Indonesian market. Indonesia's geography favors combined energy production using hydro, using wind, and solar energy will reduce fossil fuel dependency, decarbonizing, and promoting a green circular energy economy with zero emissions. Now, let's go to the last part, is the conclusions. The escalating energy demands in Indonesia, driven by population growth and industrial development, necessitate a transition towards more sustainable energy sources. And for now, Indonesia's demand for energy still rely on fossil fuels. But Indonesia is trying to reduce that gas emissions, so there are strategic plans and commitments in place to increase the share of renewable energy and reduce carbon emissions with the target set for 2030, and for a long-term goal, it will achieve the net zero emissions by 2060. Green hydrogen emerges as a promising alternative to traditional fossil fuels. It can be produced from renewable energy sources through electrolysis, offering a clean energy solution with potential application across various sectors, including transportation, industrial process, and electricity generation. Despite its potential, the production of green hydrogen faces significant challenges, primarily due to the high cost, but it's still in a development stage, so maybe so it can be reduced. And yeah, moreover, Indonesia's infrastructure for hydrogens, including filling station and vehicles, is still in its nascent stages. Research and development efforts are ongoing, aiming to optimize production processes and explore viable options such as gas engine co-firing with green hydrogen. In conclusions, while there are substantial challenges to overcome, the development of green hydrogen in Indonesia holds significant promise for decarbonizing the energy sector and contributing to global climate change mitigation efforts. Strategic investment to technological advancements and supportive policies will be crucial in realizing the potential of green hydrogen as sustainable energy source for Indonesia's future. So that's all my presentation about the economic viability of using the hydrogen fuel in Indonesia. So this is my references that I use. Okay, thank you. My name is Hamidan Ira.